Well, I think from a layperson's perspective, from working now with 1, 2, 3, you're the fourth agent we've worked with on the purchase of 2 homes. We tried 3 with this last purchase, and I can say this: of all of them, even if any of them had sold me a house, they had knowledge and information I did not have that I needed. So that's worth their pay right there.
Right.
So icing on the cake is someone who understands you, who's you really communicate well with. Of course, we would like for that to be every relationship we have with our doctor, our lawyer, our whatever. But I think realtors bring to the table a wealth of information and experience that I don't have the time or interest in accruing myself. So that's worth your commission, much less feeling like you've gone above and beyond. So I never understand people who begrudge people like realtors, because there are many other industries like a realtor where at the end of the day, people go, you don't really deserve that much money. Lawyers are another one.
Right.
Where it's, we couldn't function without lawyers in Bert's business.
Right.
We need lawyers to deal with so many things because I don't even know things that I'm supposed to be thinking about, right?
Right.
How would I know that about the real estate industry? I wouldn't know that I'm supposed to be thinking about inspections and contingencies and landfills and all this stuff that I don't know about. So
I think though that like as a buyer, you don't feel it as much as like a seller, right? Because the seller's getting all the money taken out of their pocket in theory, right? Like they're paying the commission.
I've never sold a house, so
right?
I don't know.
So that's when you feel it a little bit differently, and I feel like that's kind of probably where the stigma comes from more than from being a buyer's agent.
But why? Why?
Because they want to make sure that they're getting their money's worth, right? Like they're paying 4%, 5%, 6%, depending on like the situation, right? Of their total sales price of their house.
But that's nothing.
But you're a normal person.
Yeah.
You're a rational, normal person. Like you are not
I would say
like
you're an
most
exceptional
people.
person, actually.
Well, thank you, Toss. I am exceptional. But no, like 4%.
Okay,
is
that's
nothing.
That's nothing but that's like if you did both sides of the deal and you're giving a discount. But usually it's 5. It's usually 5%.
It's usually 5.
Like standard and customary is 5%, 2.5 to each side.
Yeah.
So if I sell my house for $100, you get $5. Really? People really have an issue with that?
But when it's $2 million, then like it's
then they get a
lot
little
of money.
They get a little edgy.
I understand, but that's not the point. The point is the larger picture, which is it is a percentage of the overall, right? And if you don't feel like your agent deserves only 5% for listing, for showing, for advising you on to whether or not you should upgrade, update, redecorate, for using their knowledge of comps in the area,
doing all the legal paperwork,
for you're crazy,
right?
Then I think you're foolish because you
should be the spokesperson.
You should.
But the thing is,
why you should have your
Thank
real
you.
estate agent.
Here's why. Though. Here's why. I grew up very blue collar. I grew up with a community, not just my dad, but a community of people who were suspicious of people like realtors.
Yeah.
Very naturally, culturally suspicious. I married a white collar man that grew up white collar, where these things are just, that's just what you do. So transitioning from one thinking into the other has been an interesting process, not just in buying a house, in everything, in paying for college, in buying new cars, and buying a television. Bert's theory is you buy an expensive appliance because you'll have it forever and you don't have any trouble with it. I buy the $200 appliance that's done in 2 years because that's what you do, because you only have $200. So you can't buy the expensive one. And why is it so much more expensive than the $200? That's a bunch of crap. It's the same thing. It's not true.
Right.
That's not true. But I think culturally, a lot of people grow up suspicious of things like a realtor's commission, not understanding that you have to spend money to make money.
Right.
I did not grow up understanding that you have to spend money to make money. I grew up understanding that you sit on every nickel you own because you probably only have 2. So don't spend 1 to make 2 dimes because then you're out of nickel. So that awareness of how I used to think is part of what I want to show people on this when I podcast is that there's nothing wrong with thinking that way. And it's very helpful to me. Like now, we could afford to pay a ridiculous cable bill. And I still look at my cable bill and go, why are we paying that $10? I should not be paying that $10. Like there's nothing wrong with that skill set of being someone who's very money minded and frugal minded and even suspicious minded. Why are you doing that? Because I think that's part of what helped me say about the other realtor. He's not actually earning his commission because I'm bringing him everything.
Right.
And he's not bringing me the things I'm asking for.
Right.
So that's the suspicious mind. Instead of Bert was like, well, he's a realtor. He'll get it done, you know?
Right.
There's value in that blue collar thinking, but some of it needs to go. Some of it needs to go away. And you need to say, I need to spend the 5% to make the 95%.
Right.
Because that is really how the world works.
Yeah.